Penn State and SC, 103rd Rose Bowl. Welcome back to the Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual, set for the second half. After an exciting first half that featured 48 points, almost 600 yards of offense, that guy Sam Darnold, 3 touchdown passes for the redshirt freshman, and Trace McSorley, after a couple of early interceptions, Kirk, for Penn State, really got the passing game going, and we have the shootout you expected.
Yeah, I think you started to see Penn State able to kind of slow things down and let the game come back to them a little bit. Got their balance going after the slow start with a couple interceptions. Maybe a little shell-shocked just with the speed of the SC defense, but they've really done a good job of just settling in. And I think it started with McSorley creating, making a few big plays, some big touchdown to Godwin that really closed into that USC lead. But I think it's the combination, as I just said, with Saquon Barkley back there. He's got 76 yards in this first half. SC's defense has got to do a good job of containing him and slowing him down. One thing USC doesn't have to be concerned about is their own offense. Boy, they have done a masterful job of getting Sam Darnold into position to make big plays in their passing game. In fact, really have not been slowed down at all.
It's a Penn State defense. It's gotten much better after halftime typically. What can they do to adjust and begin to make life more difficult for Sam Darnold? It looks so incredibly comfortable out there.
Yeah, they've got to get after him, and that's they've been trying to, but the offensive line from USC, along with Darnold's ability to improvise and buy time, that's been really what's done Penn State in. They've got to do a good job of maybe coming up with some different wrinkles. They've got to continue to pressure him. You can't let him sit back there with that arm strength and throw the ball.
Dory Jackson at the goal line. Goes that suddenness. Jackson hurdles a man, stiff arm. He's entertaining. He didn't take it to the house, but he makes it interesting. Explosive. Samantha?
Yeah, Chris, when Clay Helton was asked about his quarterback going into half, he simply said, wow. And I got a similar response out of former SC quarterback Mark Sanchez, who's been on the sideline. I asked him to describe for me what that it factor you've been talking about all game is. With Sam, he said he actually reminds me a lot of his quarterback with the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, where nothing is too big for him. That even though he hasn't experienced the moment before, it's like no big deal. And I can tell he's only said about 10 words on the sideline, and yet has the full respect of his teammates. It's really impressive to watch.
Doesn't say a lot, but they listen when he talks. There's a first down handoff. Sam Darnold in the first half compared to Mark Sanchez, who threw for monster yards in the first half against Penn State back in that 2009 Rose Bowl.
But I think the difference is this kid's a freshman.
Yeah.
And there's just a feel to him. What Sam just described, there's Mark looking on, along with Marcus Allen and some of the other great USC alums. What Sam's describing, I think, has everything to do with just the players believing in him. He doesn't have to say a lot.
Running game wasn't a big part of the first half for USC. And Ronald Jones, again wearing number 4 today in honor of Joe McKnight, slips down. It'll set up a third down play.
There's a great effort there by Kabenda, keeping the edge to the defense, forcing him back to the inside where he eventually lost his footing. Watch him slide outside. Does a good job getting off of the potential block there by Fala, the center.
Kabenda was born in Orange County, Southern California, played high school football in Jersey, the commander of this defense.
Let's see how Penn State does here on third downs of trying to get after him. We saw Darnold have a lot of success on some third and longs, keeping plays alive and finding open receivers. Penn State up tight.
Burnett comes in motion, and the ball thrown over his head. That time the lines were all over number 80. Jordan Smith, a backup corner in coverage, and they force a punt.
Like Jordan Smith he's been out there on an island a number of times, and he's typically stride for stride with these receivers. Now, Darnold's made some good throws and converted, but do not fault Jordan Smith. That time he read the eyes of the receiver, and when he looked up for the ball, he got his head turned around. Play really never had much of a chance.
Trojans have run 48 offensive plays and finally punt for the first time. Could still be the Aussie from Melbourne out there, and a flag before the snap.
They had movement on the right side of that line.
False start. Offense. Number 6. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
True freshman receiver Michael Pittman. It's one of the few, we haven't seen a lot of miscues or mistakes by USC at all in that first half.
Very cleanly played half for sure. Penn State, very few penalties throughout the season. John Reed, one of the defensive backs, is the deep man. Kirby sends a boomer that Reed will field at the 21 with the fair catch to Tom Rinaldi.
Chris, thank you very much. Talking to James Franklin on his way out of the locker room, he said he told his team, be comfortable. This is where we've been all season long. Defensively in particular, he said we have to make Sam Darnold uncomfortable. It isn't the run game, it's the pass game to get to him there. Offensively, he said, we've got to get the ball to our playmakers straight to settle down now. We found an offensive rhythm. But he said his most important message was, we can come back on this team. We can move the ball. You guys have done this all season long. We'll see how it manifests starting right now, Chris.
Well, they sure have. It creates belief when you come back time and again after halftime. Actually outscored in the first half this season by 23 points.
Yeah, but when they have trailed the last 4 times at halftime, they have gone on to win those games. So what Thomas and you're saying, there is a belief that you're never out of a game.
It's Barkley trying to bounce it. And does escape. Saquon Barkley in the clear. Still going. Saquon Barkley all the way to the end zone. Electric, 79 yards.
This is Saquon Barkley in a nutshell in one play. Play is designed to go up into the middle of the USC defense, but he bounces the ball to the outside, and then you've got 2 defenders that have a chance to make a play. Play's designed to go to the inside. He shakes tail the safety. Another safety comes up, Harris. He misses him. Then he cuts all the way back against Chris Hawkins, and then shows you the speed to take it to the end zone.
After trailing by 13 points 3 different times, Penn State, a PAT by Tyler Davis away of taking the lead for the first time. A flag before the kick. When you do it again and again and again, it's hard for outsiders to understand the belief this team has that they can always continue to do this. But in one play, they grab the lead.
We're getting a preview of the faces of college football for the 2017 season today.
Illegal substitution, defense. The penalties decline. We will have a try.
That's a great point.
With Sam Darnold from USC, 14 in white and 26 in blue. These guys are going to be the faces of the sport next year. They're going against each other the second day of January 17th.
Saquon, a true sophomore.
Yeah. Well, what a move by that young man.
Davis does give Penn State its first lead. And James Franklin says, this is what we do. This is what Barkley does. We showed you the power earlier, the lower body strength. There's the moves. Breaking some ankles and breaking off a 79-yarder. Here in the Keith Jackson Broadcast Center, we visit with the great man for whom this place is named momentarily. And we call 15 of these Rose Bowl. His feel, his passion for this place, shaping the appreciation of so many viewers. Lions have the lead for the first time. Saquon Barkley's touchdown run. It's 4 touchdowns in the last 4 possessions for Penn State. It's a short kickoff. Hitting the Trojans and tackle at the 26 as we welcome in Keith Jackson. This is your first Rose Bowl you've attended since that USC Texas Classic. What brought you back today, Keith?
First any game
Wow.
since 06.
Get a special feel for these 2 programs being in this great stage.
Well, I sort of had a feeling after the 56 years that was enough, so I went and sat down in the rocking chair and stayed there for 6 years.
It's great to have you.
And then you said that you get a feel for the Penn State program and the fact that they are here, a rare appearance.
Well, we did a lot of Big Ten games and a lot of Penn State games, and Penn State has, in my mind at least, they're a team that plays hard. They play hard in the final inning. And if you're going to beat them, you're going to have to tighten up your chin strap and go dig it up.
Has shown that grit and that resilience in another comeback here. Darnold incomplete on the slant on first down as the Trojans try to answer.
I'll tell you this, I think, too, looking at USC, I think they've got a chance next year to be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the country. Because they've got some real big-time talent.
Yeah.
When you see a team like this, and how many times we've seen them in the old Big Ten days when they were dominant, in the old Pacific Conference when they were dominant, they had big people, and then they all must have sat down above the rocking chair and remembered the famous Amos Alonzo Staggs saying, "Big fast people beat little fast people."
Not that much has changed since Coach Staggs' days. Interference there on Haley moves the ball, gives the Trojans a first down.
Trojans got a lot of speed to go with that challenge.
What do you make of this young quarterback who certainly looks the part? Darnold, an incredible first half.
Good on.
Such poise for such a young player, too.
Well, look at what they've got this high. They're just covered with it.
Yeah.
They swim in it. And they think in it. And they do that better than probably their grandfather did when he was 14, 15.
Yeah.
They flip it in the flat. And it's Adoree Jackson trying to make an impact as a receiver. Knocked down. Nice tackle right at the line there.
Oh, that is a heck of a job in the open field by Malik Golden. We talked all night about Adoree Jackson, what he can do with the ball in his hands. And you can see he closes the gap, the ground there, goes low, and does a nice job of forcing this third down play.
He's really a good player.
Yeah, electrifying.
Sets up a 3rd and 10.
Chris, this is where Darnold has made plays escaping. Remember, he had a lot of success. We talked about that a little earlier. Buying time and then finding receivers downfield. See if Penn State tries to bottle him up.
Lions rush only 4. Darnold has some time. Now escapes. And takes a downfield shot. Burnett goes up. Broken up. Well defended by Haley down there. The Lions come up with a stop.
Just talked about how he creates and makes plays. It puts a lot of pressure on your secondary. It's a heck of a job by Grant Haley of staying with Burnett because you're trying to cover him for 5 or 6 seconds with that scramble. And that goes up, and Haley finds the football, does just enough there to get involved in trying to keep Burnett away from the ball.
Keith, we may be building toward another one of those classic finishes in this place. It's a thrill to have you along for a few minutes here.
How about that game the other night with Stanford and
with
Florida State?
Oh, yeah, with Florida State and Michigan. Was an incredible game. Yeah.
My goodness, I haven't seen a game like that since, Michigan and Colorado.
Oh, yeah. That was a great one.
False start. Offense. Number 42. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
It's fun when the bowl games have plenty of twists and turns at a dramatic finish. You might be headed this direction. You get a feel for how this one's going to end. Come down to a play or two in the last minute.
What do you guys think about the way they're scheduling these days? The after season as well as the preseason.
Well, that's become a big hot topic. You called so many big games in September, some of those non-conference games. I'd love to see more and more of those.
One thing that bothers me a little bit, it comes from an old-timer down in Texas who coached a lot of football games about the future and what the next major problem would be. And he said very quietly and firmly, too much coverage. Meaning saturation.
Yeah.
And I think he might be right as I watch it evolve.
Yeah, good point.
Many would not argue. On that note, we'll say thank you once again, not only for joining us, but for what you've done over the years and what you met, and continued good health at 88. And Happy New Year to you, Keith Jackson. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. We will continue. 103rd, granddaddy of them all. Lions get the ball back up 1.
The Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual is brought to you by Taco Bell's $1 double stack tacos. The quick silver card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back. Every purchase, everywhere. Ford, we go further so you can. PlayStation. Every day is the big game on PlayStation. Greatness awaits. And Allstate, proud supporters of college football. It's good to be in good hands.
The royal wave there. We stood the Rose Queen for 2017, Victoria Castellanos, and her court, Andre Cameron, Maya Khan, Shannon Marceau, Autumn Lundy, Natalie Petrosian, and Lauren Powers. Big day for those ladies. And the Lions have the football back up by one for once today, not fighting from behind. They can try to bring some pressure. McSorley steps up, takes a downfield shot for Godwin, who makes the catch and will scamper for a touchdown. Penn State's home run offense strikes again. 2 plays, 2 70-plus yard touchdowns in the half.
That's the chance you take when you blitz as much as USC has been blitzing tonight. I mean, that's what Penn State has done to people in the second half of the season. They take shots downfield, and I think SC felt comfortable that they could match up in those situations, locate the ball and knock it away. But again, McSorley, as he's done most of this year, making big plays and giving those receivers a chance. And how about the day that Godwin has had tonight for Penn State? 9 receptions, 187 yards on the night.
Penn State saying we expect this, but you saw that stunned look on the faces of USC fans. They're down 8 now.
They brought Leon McQuay, 22, from the field, and he almost is able to get to McSorley coming from his right. See the pressure. They get to the outside, but when you leave the corner isolated, there's nobody behind. And if you don't locate the ball, and actually Marshall does a decent job of tipping the ball, but the extra job, the effort there by Godwin, not giving up on the play, locates the football and is able to secure it. There's Marshall, stride for stride. He's in phase. He puts that right hand up to knock it away, but he doesn't knock the ball down. Instead, it goes up, and Godwin makes the play.
Bill Moorhead on the right who called the play. He took a left jab to the chest from his head coach and then a shot in the back.
That's one of those when you call it, you're kind of saying, here we go, let's see what happens. And then he hits it, and you turn over and look at him like, bang.
I'll tell you what, Kurt, the second half story continues to unfold for this team. There's some swag that the quarterback brings. There's some swag that the play caller, Joe Moe, they call him Joe Pa so many years. Now it's Joe Moe. They were brought in the first year.
They were down 13-0, and it felt worse in the first quarter. And it just seems to settle them in and put a little bit of anxiousness in the entire team.
Jackson tries to answer. Never seen a second half start to any game, much less a Rose Bowl. A 79-yarder and a 72-yarder.
You can see right now, that's Marshall who just knocked that ball away. Trying to get the players' attention. And he's doing just that.
Dory Jackson, by the way, slow to get up after returning that kick. And Penn State's defense back on the field now, protecting an 8-point lead. We were told by Tom Rinaldi that one of the key guys in that defense, Brandon Bell, was headed to the locker room. He's out there now, number 11. He was in tears. I think he felt maybe his day was over, but he's back out there.
This is the Rose Bowl, and if he's able to play, he's going to give it everything that he has. He's had a battle through injuries this year.
He missed 4 games.
One of the few defense suffered. One of the few seniors on this team that plays.
Smith-Schuster takes the handoff, and he's hit hard at the corner by Haley. This is what we've seen. Penn State's defense feeds on the offense and vice versa all season long.
And I think it was interesting talking to the players about how they believe in each other. It's a very tight-knit group. Good job there by Farmer getting upfield. There's it. Penn State flying around right now, and Bell leading the charge, 11. Boy, just a different energy coming off of this Penn State defense right now.
And again, the Lions would tell us you should not be surprised at what you've seen. This is our MO all year. Darnold delivers on the slant, batted up, deflection. Grumbling. Down inside the 5. Tackled by the quarterback. A crazy carom and everything going Penn State's way.
We just talked the report from Tom Rinaldi. He's going into the locker room, tears in his eyes. He comes back, makes a big hit the previous play, and now he comes up with an interception.
He is down on the ground holding that left wrist after returning the interception down inside the 5-yard line. And Darnold and the Trojans look absolutely shell-shocked at the moment. They can't believe they've seen this happen.
Well, the play is intercepted by Bell, but how about the effort on the outside, Chris? The corner, Christian Campbell, creates the interception. He jumps the route. How many times have you seen a quick throw? Watch him quick. Sees the quick slant, jumps to it, gets his hands on the ball, almost comes up with the interception himself, but by tipping it up into the air, it falls eventually into the hands of Bell. But Christian Campbell, the junior, creates the turnover for Penn State.
Campbell might have grabbed it and it fallen to the ground. Bell says, no, I'll just take that from you. I'll take that from you.
Yeah, but his acceleration off the break on the quick slant is really what set that up. And then Bell, the senior, takes it away.
Literally took it off a teammate.
Yeah.
And now they're being looked at still down on the 5-yard line. You mentioned he's a senior, Kirk. If he can't continue, this may be the final play of his Penn State career, but what a humongous play as they continue to review it, but it looked pretty straightforward. For Darnold, it would be his first interception. It's a tough guy, no doubt.
The head coach right down there.
Absolutely stunning turnaround of this game. We know Penn State's a great second-half team, but the way this has happened in the first 4.5 minutes of the second half. What a way to report on Bell's condition. Wayne Hayes still at the booth there.
Into the locker room for the second time. Still holding that right arm.
He's in the USC section down there.
His reviewer, the person that intercepted the ball, after review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Penn State.
Bell was taken off out of the tunnel to the locker room in an area surrounded by USC fans, and they were on their feet applauding.
Yeah, I think everybody appreciates the effort. They were reviewing the play, and I'm still trying to figure out what they were reviewing, unless they thought maybe Campbell had intercepted it himself while his knee was down. Other than that, there really wasn't anything to review. But here we go. Let's see if Penn State tries to get 6. Obviously, SC now. We've been talking about Penn State's defense needing to make a stand. Now it's SC that needs to come up with a play.
First and goal. McSorley running all the way. Cuts it back and barrels in. And Penn State builds more momentum and stretches the lead to a couple touchdowns.
And if you eliminate the drive at the end of the half, that's 6 straight drives now for touchdowns for McSorley and Penn State. They outnumber him when the quarterback runs. Left tackle does a nice job of getting out there. Ryan Bates. McSorley's involved. Nobody picks up McSorley as Barkley ends up getting him into the end zone.
Trickiest part about that play was collecting the high snap from Gaia, which was something that to grab and then move in. And so a 3-yard quarterback run gives Penn State a 15-point lead. This is a team that 3 different times in the first half was down 13 points. And McSorley told his team as they took the field for warm-ups, guys, it's our chance to write our history. We get one chance here. The thing about this is most people thought they would have no chance to get back to this Rose Bowl. When they were hit with the sanctions at the time, these veterans came aboard this program with faith and little else that this could happen. Now to have the recovery from the sanctions, which many thought would take a decade, be this quick to get to this game and play like this.
Can't say enough about the seniors who stuck it out. And there were some players, when these sanctions came down, decided to leave. These seniors watched guys like Michael Maldi stand there and say, this is Penn State. It's bigger than these sanctions. It's about the tradition and what Penn State football means to our community and to our fans and to the former lettermen. And they decided to stick it out. Who would have ever thought that 5 years later, they'd be in Pasadena playing in the Rose Bowl as a 5th-ranked team, taking on USC with a 42-27 lead in the third quarter.
Those players are all aware that many out there have strong negative feelings about this program, the simple, heinous nature of the crimes that Jerry Sandusky committed after he left Penn State staff on the premises there. Will always make people have mixed feelings about this, but no one involved with the program had anything to do with that.
The coaches, the players that are currently on this football team, the administration, there's nobody that's at Penn State that had anything to do with what happened. This is about James Franklin, and it's about this group of football players playing in 2016.
We can get into the story a little bit deeper about how these guys, the core of seniors, decided to stick around. It was really the group just before them who've already moved on, who had to try to keep things together, and even hit with those sanctions, unprecedented sanctions that were peeled back a little bit a couple of years ago. Never had a losing season in Happy Valley in that time.
Incredible job. First Bill O'Brien and now James Franklin, and now it's about Sam Darnold and USC keeping their wits about them as this game is kind of completely flipped the other way.
Jones picks his way. We're talking about the poise of Darnold. Everything was going right for him and his receiving corps, and suddenly, they're down by 15.
And we talked about as Penn State was trying to play catch-up. What did you ask me? What is McSorley going to press? Because their own defense cannot stop Sam Darnold, but it's a 60-minute game. And as we've seen now, Penn State's defense has made some adjustments and doing a good job of getting USC off the field.
2nd and 6. Delivers to Rogers. Northwestern Mutual plan for success involves trying to affect him. Haven't really had an effective pass rush yet.
No, but they've done a good job in coverage. And even when he's completing passes, these Penn State defensive backs are in pretty good position. It's just the accuracy and the anticipation that Darnold's throwing the ball with is giving his receivers a chance, even though they've been pretty well covered.
Darnold steps up. It's a downfield shot. Schuster trying to track it down. John Reed was in coverage.
Taking a shot, and even though you missed it there on 1st and 10, it's a smart call by T. Martin to take a shot.
Great effort here.
And he had a step on him, tremendous effort, just misses it. But again, I think it sends a message to the Penn State defense that, guys, we're not just going to throw these underneath throws, these quick, rhythmic throws. We're going to take some shots, and it's nice to plant a seed in that Penn State defense's mind that, it's not just about the short passing game.
Take it to Jones, and Rogers was wide open on a slant, and Darnold missed him that time.
I think he hurried that one a little bit. I think he saw that he had him open, and he had room to run, that he tried to, it was one of the few times we've seen him get out of rhythm and get the ball out almost too fast. He didn't quite give Rogers enough chance to get out of his break and break free from the defender. This time they're just out of sync, sets up a 3rd and long.
Darnold puts it on a screen to send Ware. And Ware, plenty of room, dragged down at 32. His first touch of the evening is a big one.
Great call on 3rd down against a blitz. It's about blocking the guy in man-to-man. Right here is the man who has him. Watch what USC is able to do on 3rd down. If you can get him blocked, which they do right there, now you've got room out there because everybody else, they have their back turned to him because they're man-to-man. Kaminda had the back out of the backfield. He was accounted for at the block. Have plenty of room for him to run after the catch.
Jones. Nice throw. And T. Martin tried to snap a 28-zip run for Penn State here.
Yeah, T. Martin's doing a very good job of not losing his patience. We are early in this second half. Plenty of time. You score on this drive and get a touchdown. It's a one-possession game. So they're just sticking to who they are. Balanced attack, A little bit of quick throw, took a shot, screen. Nice job of mixing it up here on this drive.
Jones cuts it back, slips as he tried to make a cut. He's right near the marker at the 22. It'll be a first down.
Like the over the top.
Check that, they'll spot it back.
Maybe it's about a half-yard short. Maybe they'll bring out the sticks.
Parker Cothran, the junior defensive tackle for the Lions, down on the field. They have depth at that defensive line position. The linebackers are asked to go the distance, but they'll rotate the defensive tackles and ends a lot, keep them fresh.
They've already done that quite a bit here in this first half and beginning of the second half. We've seen Kevin Givens playing a lot on the inside. There's a kind of a change of undersized, much quicker guy compared to Parker Cothran and Curtis Cothran.
Bring the chains out, and the Trojans are about 3/4 of a yard short. It'll be third down. Reminder they're coming up from the Superdome, All-State Sugar Bowl. Auburn Tigers and Oklahoma Sooners, also streaming live on the Watch ESPN app. Beautiful sunset after a stormy, cloudy day. See Baker and Dede had a hookup down there in the Superdome.
Finalists in New York with the Heisman. You don't see that very often. One team. I remember Leinart and Reggie Bush. How often does that happen? You have a couple from the same team.
For Penn State, Kijana Carter.
Yeah.
Kerry Collins, same year in '94. They talked about that Rose Bowl team. Adrian Peterson, Jason White also did it for Oklahoma. They're giving me Heisman trivia in the middle of the game here now. 3rd and 1. Justin Davis. He's the back. He's got it. And to immediately cut back. Worked hard just to get a half yard and the first down. Kabinda wrestled him down.
Yeah, it's because Terrence Brown got penetration, the defensive end. They're just slanting that defensive line. They slant to the left, and then Kabinda's right there, makes the play just short of that marker. But because of the effort and the twisting there of Davis, he picks up that first down. But before he got to Kabinda, he had to put his foot in the ground and get around a closing Torrance Brown.
How impressive was Kabinda talking about the motivation and unity of this team. Some of the issues we talked about a few minutes ago. Blew me away. Davis cuts it back. Jason Kabinda is a great example about what's right about college football.
Oh my gosh. I could not get him. I could have talked to him for 2 weeks. And he is an impressive guy. He's already made an announcement that he's going to come back to Penn State next year. A junior, the quarterback, the leader, the kind of the heart and soul in the middle of that defense.
Look at those eyes, huh?
Like a young Mike Singletary kind of guy with the intensity that he plays with.
2nd and 1. Play action fake. Touchdown. Juju Smith-Schuster, and the Trojans do break the 28-point run.
That is great patience that time by Sam Darnold. He pumped because he almost let the ball go, but he waited for Juju Smith-Schuster to clear. And once he cleared, he let it go to the top right. Watch Darnold right there. He wanted to throw it, but he waited until Juju was able to clear the coverage there from Christian Campbell. Nice job there. See, watch him wait. Now he releases it. Once he cleared, Juju Smith gets behind Campbell pretty easily.
And now they're going to go for 2. Darnold is on the field. Look at this formation. A whole bunch of folks off to the left. Quarterback in the shotgun takes it, rolls out, slips as he cuts, and now just flips it into the end zone to McNamara for the 2-point conversion.
I don't think it was designed that way, but it worked out. I think he wanted to run it in or throw it to his other tight end.
But then he was a great point guard, right?
That was, and then he just kind of, just almost like he's in practice, just kind of flipped it to McNamara for the 2-pointer.
Rolls out, yeah, slips right here at 48, says, I'm open, here you go.
It worked.
So an 8-point touchdown drive for the Trojans, who cut it back to 7. We're having fun in the Rose Bowl this evening. Lions turn next. Rose Bowl experience is priceless, but whatever these folks paid for a ticket, they got in free. They've got more than their money's worth. USC, for the first time this year, converts on a two-point try. Tried one and failed. Penn State hadn't faced a two-point try all season. The 65-yard touchdown drive. That's the Penn State lead to 7. The Lions offense goes back on the field after having scored touchdowns on each of their last 4 plays.
Say that again after this.
This is Miles Sanders. This is way. And 4 consecutive plays. Penn State has scored. Gesicki touchdown, remember, at the end of the half, and then these 3 plays here in the third quarter.
This isn't the last 4 drives. The last 4 offensive plays for Penn State have been touchdowns. Here early in the second half by Barkley, it was just one of his best runs of his career. Next play, next time they got the ball back, Godwin adjusts, finds the ball for tip by Marshall. They come back up with an interception by Bell. And then a short touchdown run by McSorley. So I don't think they're going to, I think the trend's going to continue 5 straight here. That's a heck of a play.
It's the Capital One pivotal performance. And a false start before the snap by the Lions. So anything less than a touchdown is a huge disappointment on this throw, right?
False start. Offense. Number 66. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Seen plenty of resilience from this man's team, and that's a crazy drive chart against a pretty darn good defense that, remember, smothered Washington, smothered Oregon, and the rest of the opponents they faced down the stretch in the Pac-12.
What that didn't show is their first 4 possessions, 2 interceptions and 2 punts. So they were kind of searching, and then they've been on this string of touchdowns.
Barkley, no touchdown this time. It's a good first down game. Have you ever in your life heard of such a thing?
No, never. I've never.
4 touchdowns in 4 straight plays.
Backyard football, you might do that, but not in a game like this. And you know, they've had this trend. We've seen it. But you were talking about the first half. This is USC's defense. This is USC's offense. But it's a belief that I think Penn State has. But with all that being said, SC just got it to a 1-possession game, and they've got the momentum back on their side.
That's a great point. I don't think he got the thing won. It was up 15 a minute ago. McSorley pressured, escapes, and flips it to Barkley. Very close to the line of scrimmage when he flipped that pass to the running back, who gets out to the 40 and is slow to get up.
He put the linebacker Cameron Smith in a tough spot here, who's in coverage. Watch him. He slips back. McSorley basically forces him to either cover Barkley or take me as the quarterback. Watch him up here at the top, right here. He decides I'm going to come off of Barkley, take the quarterback, and that's what opened up the throw that time to Barkley out of the backfield.
Barkley being looked at, and Mark Allen comes in, number 8.
Smaller, but really quick. 5'6", 180 pounds.
He's got it, but nowhere to run. Heavy traffic. You guys, Stevie T clogged it up.
EBT, 6'1", 320. We talked a lot about him going up against Gaia in the middle. He is, again, the transfer from Utah, holds the point. Look at him extend his arms, gets off of Gaia. Not only is he eating up blocks, but he's making plays at the line of scrimmage.
Tuipulotu and Gaia is fun to watch. We talked about the 2 big, strong veterans tested each other this afternoon. That round is TBT. Barkley back in the game. Trojan shows some pressure. McSorley picks it up at the last second and shows his improvisational skills. Slides down for a short gain, and the Trojans hit him. Chris Hawkins, the safety, hit the quarterback after he slid. It'll be 15.
It starts with another safety blitz from McQuay. He almost blew the play up in the backfield, but great effort by McSorley.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
You see McQuay get in there. McSorley somehow gets out of there. Boy, that is a very mild hit there at the end from Hawkins. I mean, he's down, but my gosh, I don't know. It's a ticky-tack to me.
Hawkins agrees, but he gave himself up there. And moves the ball to the 45. 7th penalty for the Trojans. They're the more penalized team throughout the season. James Franklin told his team, we have to have an edge. We have to be the more disciplined team, have fewer penalties than they do. And so far, they have. McSorley again, pressured, somehow slips away and flips it on the far side to Barkley, who's wide open. Flag comes in as Saquon spins down at the 32, and that'll cost Penn State some yards.
How does McSorley do it? I mean, the kid just makes plays. He's in that pocket looking around. He somehow comes out of it as it's being squeezed. They're collapsing on him. Looks out in the flat and sees his check down, Barkley. Just the guy he wants to get the ball out there to.
There is no foul on the play. The pass is behind the line of scrimmage when the contact occurred downfield. First down.
Clay Helton smiled. Remember, that is the replay ruling on the touchdown that they got. Contact with the ball behind the line. So Barkley's catch moves the ball to the 31.
In this case, he was way behind the line, about 4 yards, but very good job by McSorley keeping the play alive and then the awareness to find his check down. The other thing Joe Moorhead is doing along with McSorley, they're changing up their tempos. Sometimes they're going fast to try to get an idea of what kind of coverage they're facing in a blitz. Other times they're looking over, trying to get SC to tip their hand.
They flip it to Allen this time, who's given a breather to Barkley, and he is well defended. Dropped for a loss there by Hutchings.
It was Hutchings, but also Nwosu, who has had a big night and a big year for SC. I remember you and I called the SC Alabama game week 1 down in Arlington. It obviously didn't go their way. Sam Darnold wasn't in the lineup, and I remember Clancy Pendergast telling us, you know, Cameron Smith is the one guy in my front seven that's played a lot of football. This has been a young team that's grown up a lot, especially in the trenches this entire season during this stretch of winning games.
I saw Marcus Allen looking on as he watches the guy on the other side, Saquon Barkley, have a spectacular game back in the game now on 2nd and 18. McSorley steps up, improvises again. That one is too tall for Gesicki, and now a flag comes in, but they hit him late again. Rasheem Green is in McSorley's face. Hilton's hoping it's a hold.
They hit him high
Personal
and low.
foul. Targeting, defense, number 35, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Cameron Smith lunges into the head of McSorley. He gets hit low here by Green, and then right here, that's what Rogers Redding and Dave Kataya, that's what they talk about, that lunge. You leave your feet, you lead with your helmet. That is why the rule was really put in place, to avoid contact like that.
They'll have to review this as they do review all targetings, but if it stands, Smith is out of the game. Dave Kataya, here's the check of the replay. Your verdict.
Well, there's a couple of things here. First of all, quarterback's defenseless, which means any contact with head, arm, shoulder, helmet, face mask above the shoulder with a launch, which you see right there, a leap from both feet. This is going to either be confirmed or stands. This is a targeting foul the way I see it.
It checks a few boxes, doesn't it?
It does.
Dave, there are fans, I think, confused with targeting, and you saying that he is defenseless. Can you explain? Quarterbacks aren't always defenseless. Why is he defenseless here?
There's several categories of defenses, so let's talk about this with the quarterback. The rule says one of the categories is once the quarterback releases the ball, he now becomes defenseless, which adds to the targeting, which includes the hand, arm, shoulder. If he wasn't defenseless, he has to be hit with the crown of the helmet. He is defenseless.
Cameron Smith will be excluded, the top tackler on this USC defense. Had a terrific season again as a sophomore, so not only is it going to cost them 15, but it's going to cost them the use of their top tackler.
The ruling on the field of targeting is confirmed. Number 35 is disqualified from the game.
A big loss. And it's a second personal foul penalty on this possession. Trojans defense self-destructing.
Here's what you lose with Cameron Smith, a guy that's fought back from an ACL to be just kind of a physical guy at 245 pounds. And initially you see Quentin Powell who's played a lot of football, but more of a kind of a nickel linebacker, 6'2", 200 pounds. So a much quicker but smaller linebacker now in the middle for USC. So that's a big loss against the run game of Barkley when you lose 245-pound Smith and you put a 200-pounder now in Powell.
Especially since Buda Tucker, another reserve linebacker, he's sitting out this one with an academic suspension. So already depleted linebacker core just got thinner with the top tackler out. Penalty moves the ball to the 24, first down for the Lions.
Keep an eye on him right here. He is in the game, and again, the run game, defending the pounding and the physicality of Saquon Barkley is where they will now be tested that much more.
Play clock winding down. They spent a long time looking at the sideline. Now they're going to have to spend a timeout. Try to do these adjustments to chest match pre-snap. Lions marching up 7. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, watching over the hard work and determination. Limp-worthy athletes for more than 60 years. Goodyear, proud sponsor of the Rose Bowl game. 2 15-yard penalties for SC on this drive, Kirk, that prevented a 3rd and 8 and a 3rd and 18. Remember that. The Sugar Bowl, by the way, will begin about 20 minutes from now, 8:40 Eastern, over on ESPN2 because of the length of this game. And, of course, will follow us when this one is concluded. I got the feeling we got a few more plot twists to come in Pasadena, though. There's Powell in for the ejected Smith. And Barkley downhill. Down inside the 10.
Boy, we just talked about Smith going out at 245 pounds. Watch the freshman alignment, the right guard McGovern, get up to him. Boom, locks up on him. Look at that. That's a different block for McGovern, blocking a 200-pound guy versus going up against a guy 245 pounds. So the first play without Smith, big yards right up the middle by Barkley.
110-pound difference in those two guys, and the guard won that one. First and goal. Lions trying to go up by 2 touchdowns again. And Shirley running, whoop, passing, touchdown. Barkley. That's not improvisation. That's planned all the way. But Saquon gets to the end zone as a receiver.
A great job. They've run the football in his same look with McSorley, with Barkley leading the way. They give him the same look. Here he goes. He's going to block. Nope. He's going to go right around him and pick up the touchdown. See, the safety loses his footing because he was fooled. McQuay, perfect job. Right time to call it by Moorhead. Catches him off guard, and a good throw and good execution by McSorley.
PHC, the prettiest, but it gets through. Barkley has run it for 180 and a couple touchdowns, and now caught 5 passes for 55 yards and a touchdown.
I think we have a shootout on our hands there.
High-scoring game. Grew up again watching the Rose Bowl games, idolizing Reggie Bush. Comes out to the Rose Bowl, and a better game than Reggie was able to have in this field.
Sure has. He's done a lot of this game, especially early. He was making every throw, buying time, getting the ball early and on the money. Really not just a youth. Important for him to feel like he has to press here. As quickly as he and his offense can score, they can get right back down there and get this within a 1-possession game. Already 84 points, a new Rose Bowl record, and we haven't even gotten into the 4th quarter.
28 points by the Lions here in the 3rd quarter. Touchdowns of their last 7 possessions. Dory Jackson, very competitive, extra competitive after the FC defense gets beat. He tries to come right back and make a play as a returner to reverse momentum. Dancing around looking for space. Finds some. A flag comes in as he's dragged down short of the 30. This will negate the return. Jackson down on the field grabbing his leg. Grimacing.
He looked like his leg got stuck underneath when he was getting tackled.
Footing's been an issue on this field from the very first plays. You see that view how chewed up it is down there.
His right leg looked like it got caught underneath him when he made a cut. There.
Out of respect, a lot of Penn State players who are right near where he's being treated, kind of on one knee, showing support. Jackson Jr. widely expected to declare for the NFL draft. The last thing anybody wants to see is a career at USC end like this. Here's a guy that has aspirations to be an Olympic long jumper, two-time Pac-12 champ in that discipline, and firmly believes that he can be among the best in the world as a long jumper.
He's getting up.
Yeah, you certainly hope.
And like you said, look at the Penn State players around him. Sorley right there. A lot of guys coming over to pat him on the back. Saquon Barkley in there.
Dory Jackson, it's been a privilege to watch him play in a Trojan uniform as a defender, occasionally as an offensive player, and as an electric kick returner. Don't want to diagnose what we're seeing, but this may be a postscript on what's been a brilliant career.
I think he's the most versatile player in the country, personally. Again, I know Jabril Peppers got a lot of attention. He talked about impacting a game and being an electrifying player in so many different ways. He really, again, he's been as good as there is this year in the sport.
So Darnold and the Trojans, after the penalty, pinned back at the 9, down 14. Burnett slips a tackle and dives forward. You see Jackson get injured, Kirk, and it brings up the issue that's been a hot button topic with Leonard Fournette, Christian McCaffrey passing on their bowl games with the draft in mind. And certainly no USC player is going to ever pass up an opportunity to play in a Rose Bowl.
No.
But it is a big issue.
Yep.
Jake Budd of Michigan, the tight end, an ACL injury suffered in the Orange Bowl. Florida State.
I think players that have a bright future, not only this year but moving forward, they're going to have to decide about their individual careers and finishing things off with their team. And ultimately, which way do you lean? What's more important to you? Is it more about your career? And if you feel that way, you need to sit out. And if you feel like, man, I just want to have one more chance to play with my guys, then you play.
Either way, do you respect the decision as an individual?
You have to respect whatever a player decides. I don't agree with it personally. I think you could get injured anytime. But I can understand why guys are doing it.
Again, Fournette and McCaffrey didn't sit out a Rose Bowl game. That's different. Experience of a lifetime to play on this field. And we certainly hope that whatever injury Jackson may have suffered over there is not severe. Final minute now of a crazy third quarter. Penn State outscoring USC 28-8 during the third quarter. And remember, they are the best fourth quarter team around.
They did such a good job of staying patient and not getting away from their game plan on that last drive when they were down 14. They're going to be asked to do that same thing here.
You flip it in the flat to Davis, and he is hit hard by Mr. Kabinda, and he's still down on the field.
Well, Kabinda this time, man-to-man, they're trying to get in the way of Kabinda, but he gets depth and gets around the receivers that are trying to bring the corners over with him. He's trying to kind of set up a screen. Kabinda sensed that and gets depth.
He's the guy that had a thumb injury. He missed 5 games. He came back for the Ohio State game, and he made an instant impact in that game, and he made a big impact on Davis there.
He sure did. But it was the recognition. This play had a chance. These receivers are getting here. They're bringing these two defenders. See, Kabinda already recognized it. He gets depth to avoid all that traffic. Now he gets around it, and now he's able to close in and make the play. That's awareness before the fact that allowed him to be able to make that play. Because if he gets caught up in that traffic, then Davis makes that catch, and he's around that left corner for 15, 20, 25 yards.
Who do you think Jason's older sister is rooting for today? She went to USC. Remember, he's from originally Orange County before the family moved back east. And she chose to become a Trojan, watching her little brother shut down the Trojans offense this afternoon.
You try to tell me he's a Cali guy, and he's like, no. I'm real Jersey. I'm a real Jersey guy.
Look at those eyes again. 3rd and 4, when maybe the final play of the quarter. Darnold retreating, buying time, stepping up and slipping down. Ball comes out. Was he down? Scrum inside the 20. They did not call him down. SC recovered the ball anyway. It was Mama, the guard on the recovery. Garrett Sickles got in there.
I don't know if his left leg, looked like his left knee might have been down before the ball came out. Looks like he's down at about the 26-yard line.
It will still be 4th down, and it will still be the end of a crazy 3rd quarter. A quarter in which Penn State scored touchdowns on their first 3 plays of the 3rd. Yeah, he was down before the ball came out, but the Trojans are down by 14 heading to the 4th.
To 35. The big concern from Trojan fans as well as football fans altogether is Adoree Jackson. A lot of people fearing he injured his knee. That is not the case. It is his right ankle. They took the shoe off and the socks off, retaped that ankle, put the socks back on. When he tried to put his shoe back on, he had a hard time doing it, was in a lot of pain. He tried to run up and down the sideline, still having pain, Chris. We'll see if he's able to come back in.
Thanks, Samantha. A relief that it's not a knee injury as Tilby boots it away to Garrity, who makes a fair catch. He had both shoes off, and he said,
he's trying to give it a go. Shoes. Yeah. He wants to get back out on the field. Doesn't look like a guy that's going to shut it down, does it? There's Justin Davis, running back. He's battled some a high ankle sprain throughout this whole year. And those high ankle sprains, just when you think you've recovered, one wrong movement, and you're back to square one.
Running out of space on those trainers' tables down there. To the Lions, again, touchdowns on 7 consecutive possessions. SC's got to find a way to get a service break.
They've got to be able to tighten up, obviously, their coverage on the outside, but they've really got to load up against Barkley in the running game.
Saquon spins away, escapes a tackle in the backfield by Nwosu. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. And the All-State Sugar Bowl will begin in about 5-6 minutes over on ESPN2. It's going to kick about 10 minutes before the top of the hour. ESPN2 will be your home to watch the Tigers and the Sooners. And, of course, as soon as this Rose Bowl game is over, coverage will continue right here on ESPN. 2nd and 10. Too early to bleed the clock, right? If you're Joe Moorhead,
yeah, but you have no problem with McSorley chewing up as much clock as he can. Not that it's being emphasized this early in the 4th quarter.
They fake it to Barkley. Trace retreats, takes off, loses the ball. It's out. Rasheem Green forced the fumble. Lions say they have it back.
It looked like McGovern, the right guard, the freshman, had a chance to jump on top of the ball. Great effort by Green to knock that ball out. McGovern's right there, but USC fans reacting. Maybe at the bottom of that pile, USC came up with it, and they did.
USC football. Tui Kolovatu, big Stevie T, won the battle at the bottom of the pile, Kirk. And Adoree says, I'm going to get back in there.
So Stevie T and McGovern have been battling in the trenches. This time they're battling for the football. And SC gets exactly what they need. The effort by Green. Look at the ball. That was a problem for McSorley early in the year. Fumbling the football. He's done a much better job of protecting it. This time, the ball's away from him. Green, the long arms, he knocks it out. And SC gets the break that they need in plus territory.
Yeah, you're right, Kirk. The first 3 games, he fumbled 8 times. They lost 3 of them. In the last 10 games, really didn't have a true fumble. There was the high snap against Wisconsin, the scoop and score. That really wasn't on him. This fumble was.
Yeah, ball was away from him and trying to make a play. But, boy, I'll tell you, Green is a great athlete on that defensive line.
Sorely disappointed. The one thing they've harped on again and again, really with both of these quarterbacks, is ball security, because Darnold has been a little bit fumble prone this season as well. And once the defensive team knows that, they're going to hack and chop at the ball, aren't they?
going to review this. This is a there's McGovern with his hands on the ball. There's the football. And here's Stevie T, and they're battling 96 to try to get that football away from the big fella McGovern.
They could review whether or not he had clear possession of the ball while he's on the field, but it's tough to overturn this, Dave, isn't it?
There's no clear recovery of who got the ball, so the only thing they can review is whether it's a fumble or not, and it's clearly a fumble.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, all we see is a pile of players, okay? Replay is out of it now. There's no shot that shows a clear recovery by anybody.
So what are we reviewing?
What they may be reviewing is to whether it's a fumble or not, unless they think there's a clear recovery. Guys, I don't see anything there that can tell me recovery.
Yeah, the ball is out.
Oh, definitely out. But did McGovern, have the ball in his arms, in possession of it while he was laying on the ground, which would affect end the play, though, right, Dave?
It would if replay can get a good shot that shows him clearly recovering.
Tell me if you see him clearly recovering this football.
All right, it disappears from view right now.
There's his hand on it, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't have it in his possession. He's got a hand on it.
To me, he's got his hand on it, but we lose sight of the ball too quickly. Okay? In my opinion, this is going to stand. But unless they have a quad shot where they can freeze every replay in one position, and they can take a look at that.
Quad shot. You're calling for technical stuff.
They can freeze. They're going to reverse it. Okay.
Here it is. Wayne Haight will have the verdict with Greensboro involved at ACC headquarters, as they have been all year long when this conference's crew is. This is a very crucial play that they're continuing, we're told, to review here and in Greensboro.
Yeah, just to clarify, like I said, the thing that what they can review, it's a fumble. We all agree it's clearly a fumble. Okay? Now, they're out of it if they can't see a clear recovery. So they need to determine what we saw with his hand on the ball, if they feel in the replay official's judgment whether that's a clear recovery.
Let me ask you, if you're an official on the field and I'm a big offensive lineman and I put in a scrum my right hand on top of the ball, do I have the ball secured?
No. Not in my opinion, unless it just sits there and nobody falls on it. This type of thing is a survival of the fittest. You dig them out and see who has the ball. Nobody can see it. Unless that one shot that you showed, but if that's enough.
But all he had was his hand out on the ball.
They have to be able to determine whether that's enough for possession. That's the key here.
Well, I don't know. If you got a big paw on it and you're laying on the ground, yeah, it's not tucked into your body, but I think he would argue that, at least the government would argue, I had the ball. I had it pinned to the field with my big hand. This is a very methodical job being done by the replay consortium here.
Chris, back to your point, if that paw is on there and he's secured the ball and replay feels that's possession, you are correct.
I've never seen that called. It always seems like it has to be in your body when you recover a fumble.
At review, it was determined that a Penn State player on the ground had recovered the ball. It will be Penn State football, 3rd and 11 at the 33-yard line.
Big effort by McGovern. The replay booth said, we were just debating it, did he have possession?
What's he talking about, said Clay Helton. You can read his lips.
Yeah, that one will be argued for a long time. 66 right there. It's not where he recovers it. It's later as it continued. He just put his hand out.
He got
the ball's
away
still
from
bobbling.
him a little bit.
It's still bobbling there. Right
but
there.
But he's got it pinned to the ground.
That's what they would consider possession. Because his body's down. He's got the ball pinned to the ground. And I guess based on replay, they're saying that is possession.
Yeah. In their judgment, they're saying that he had possession, clear recovery before that big pileup.
Now it's still a 3rd down play coming up.
Look at the reaction by Franklin. They beat 11 on 3rd down, but it's not USC ball at the plus 33. USC crowd sending a chorus of boos down toward the ACC crew here. USC defense has to regroup, get off the field here.
Linebackers up, either disguising or bringing pressure. That's why McSorley are going to look over and talk about Powell and Hutchings up close into the middle of that line of scrimmage.
Barkley. And not dance free, rocked down. And that was big Stevie T with the tackle for loss, and Penn State will have to punt.
So more than anything, it's just the field position thing. Penn State ends up punting a play, a couple plays later. But SC, as you said, Chris, loses having the ball in plus territory, maybe a change of momentum, getting it within one possession. Now it's going to be back on Sam Darnold and the SC offense.
Jackson not back to return this. We hope he can return, but it's Deontay Burnett deep against Blake Gillikin. The true freshman's had a terrific season punting the ball for Penn State. Hasn't had much work this afternoon, but this was a major weakness for the Lions last year. Gillikin has changed all that. Look at the coverage. And they trap Burnett back at the 17-yard line. Key component to Penn State's success, that kind of punting, as Jackson is consoled by teammates on the sideline. And Chris Hawkins, the safety teammate in the defensive backfield. Tears from McGorry may indicate that he will not be able to return.
Chris Hawkins has been with McGorry for a long time, trying to console him. Sam Darnold, time to add to those most combined points. 5 possessions this second half. They do have a touchdown with 3 punts and an interception.
We've seen that each quarterback today has already equaled the Rose Bowl record for touchdown passes with 4. I would not bet against one or both of them getting more and claiming that record.
I keep talking about how USC needs to kind of stick to their identity and not panic. Now all of a sudden you start to get under 13 minutes, 2-possession game. You don't have to necessarily start throwing the ball like crazy, but you do need a little bit more urgency from Darnold in the offense, especially as far back as they are right now inside their own 20.
Lions crowd the lineman back off on 2nd and 9. Darnold from the pocket steps up and is knocked down after a short gain. It's not really a big play offense, is it, Kirk? It's kind of a methodical ball control passing game.
It is, and other than when he scrambles, other than when he buys time. That time, Penn State, that's the one thing that Brent Pry's probably telling his guys as the defensive coordinator, Coach Fry. Keep him in the pocket. Don't let him to the outside where he buys time, and that's where he makes his big play. If they're going to dink and dunk, that's one thing. Let's not give up the big play off the scramble. Good job on the defensive line, keeping him in the pocket.
Trojans 6 of 12 on 3rd down. Darnold pressure immediately, throws it dangerously over the middle, and Smith-Schuster off the carom makes the catch, and they move the sticks. Wow.
Boy, they brought Kabenda. Kabenda gets in there. Garrett Sickles gets in there, and that was a freshman decision to throw that ball and just hope over the middle, and it floats over the top of one receiver and then into the hands of Juju Smith-Schuster. So USC on 3rd down. Big risk and chance by the young quarterback, and somehow it pays off, lands in the arms of their talented receiver, number 9.
You could see maybe some desperation in that throw. He got hit hard, was a little shaky after the play. Throw a slant, and it's a short game to Burnett. Again, the man who scored a couple of touchdowns tonight.
It's a little thing, but it's a good job. This guy, I tell you, he's got such poise. It's another run-pass option. And that linebacker blitz, he saw him as he put the ball into the stomach of his running back. He pulled out of that and hit the quick slant right behind the blitz. Little thing, but it sets up a 2nd and 4 instead of running into a blitz.
Lions bring the blitz again. And Darnold delivers to Burnett again. He makes the catch at the Penn State 41.
You need arm strength to make this throw. You're squeezing this throw between a linebacker and a safety, and the safety is closing in on the receiver. He has to throw that on a line because Burnett has to make the catch and then get down as Golden is about to lower the boom. Great throw and a good job of getting it out quickly by Darnold.
Pick up 20.
If he hesitates there for a second, Golden's over to make the play.
Jones down a dangerous run before Marcus Allen. That's right, Penn State's Marcus Allen made the tackle.
We have not seen Jones get out at all.
No.
I mean, you talk to a lot of people these last 3 or 4 weeks. One of the things that I know Marcus Allen was thinking about was not just Darnold making big plays in a pass game, but Ronald Jones finding some creases against a blitzing defense and hitting some big plays. But so far tonight, he's not been able to do anything. 15 carries and only 41 yards.
Kirk, that was his longest run of the night, 7 yards.
Yeah,
he's had 400-yard games in the last 5.
Yeah, he's averaging less than 3 yards a touch so far.
Give him another try, another short gain. Will set up third and short. It's a methodical drive, but a drive that's only alive because of that crazy decision in the Karam catch.
Can't believe that.
If they come back and score here,
everything was a no. And this kid's great, but everything was a no-no there. Late over the middle, floats it.
Playing with some emergency, some tempo, and Jones just going to get enough to get the first down. These are hard-earned rushing yards against this Lions front tonight.
They're doing great. It's the front and the linebackers. That's kind of their MO, attacking downhill. Kabinda and Bell. Manny Bowen is not playing in this game, suspended. Koa Farmer has been playing pretty well in his place, number 7. Rotating Brandon Smith in there as well. A lot of different bodies that Brent Fry has rotated around.
Trojans finally over 100 yards rushing, but it's taken a long time to get there. Darnold now loops it for Smith-Schuster. Terrific catch, but he's out of bounds. Incomplete. Running stride for stride with John Reed.
Boy, I'd love to take a look at this. That was a rainbow. How about the accuracy on the fade? Does he get a foot down? I mean, oh my gosh. That was close at right foot. Watch this right. And his foot's still down when he has the ball. That's a catch. That's a catch at the 5-yard line.
It has been shown on the screen, and the Trojan fans who already feel slighted by the officials certainly agree. They're hollering.
They're going to get this. That's a perfectly thrown football by Sam Darnold. You can't throw it any better. It's impossible.
Pass. The previous play is under review.
That's definitely a catch.
Now we'll take a quick break as they review it here. And in Greensboro, again. Here's the verdict.
Review, the receiver's right foot was inbounds when the ball was possessed. He first and goal at the 3-yard line.
Trojans enjoy that verdict a lot more than the last one. So Smith-Schuster on that gorgeous throw from Darnold sets him up at the 3.
We first guessed on that one. It looked like his foot was down, and in fact, they confirmed that the right foot was down. Tremendous effort on the back end by Juju Smith-Schuster, but the throw by Sam Darnold was ridiculous. He gets hit as he throws it by Kevin Gibbons. He can't even really fully follow through because he gets hit, and he drops a dime right on the head of Juju Smith-Schuster to give him a chance to make that catch. Big time by Darnold.
Jones. Touchdown SC. Rojo caps off an eventful drive for USC that covered 83 yards in 10 plays and featured the conversion on 3rd down and a Karam reversal and a great catch, and finally a short touchdown run.
Nice steal block by Rodgers, number 1, comes right here, picks it up, sets him, gives him a chance to get around and walk into the end zone for a touchdown. And boy, this one's setting up for a really, really exciting finish with 8:15 to go.
Bormeister to make it a 7-point game with 8:15 to play. Now it's been an evening for offense. Spectacular throws, spectacular catches. That one by Smith-Schuster gets the Trojans back within a touch.
The Rose Bowl game is presented by Northwestern Mutual. Northwestern Mutual. We help you live life differently. And in part by AT&T. Get your entertainment and sports your way from AT&T. And Chevrolet. More 2016 J.D. Power Dependability Awards than any other brand.
What a fun way to spend a Monday night. Cassidy to the highest scoring Rose Bowl game in history. 91 combined points, a dozen touchdowns. And the Trojans get a crucial score to draw within 7. We're able to get a stop. The last time Penn State had the football, that snapped a streak of 7 consecutive drives. Penn State scored touchdowns. Saquon Barkley is back deep to receive the kickoff. Not one of his usual scores. Takes it at the goal line. Saquon slipped as he made a cut. Is knocked down at the 25. Tom?
Chris, as we know, James Franklin takes pride in being even field on the sideline, never getting too high or too low, but he has not stopped wearing the officials out. As soon as a play entered review, Smith-Schuster caught the ball. He thought there was a push-off. He has said repeatedly, game-changing play. How can you not see that that was a clear push-off? Didn't go his way. His team's got to get composed right now.
Tommy, when he looks at the tape, he'll see Gesicki had a similar move himself and didn't get called either, so it's all good.
In any case, you got to let it go. The team has the lead, 8:09 to play. Penn State, remember, has owned the fourth quarter this season. Barkley a short game, but 166 to 55 is the edge for the Lions in the final quarter. Trojans have the only point so far here in the fourth.
Rely on Barkley and McSorley here in these final 8 minutes. Mix in a little bit of play action off the handoff to Saquon Barkley.
Interesting to see what Joe Moorhead calls. It's an offense predicated on high-risk plays, deep downfield shots. McSorley under pressure delivers a high throw, far sideline. The catch is made there by Tompkins, but a very short gain. And it'll be third and long.
They brought both their middle linebackers, and again, McSorley done a really good job all night of feeling that, but SC takes away the deeper throw and allows him to throw it underneath to Tompkins, but still well short of the first down.
One of the keys to success for Penn State, a much better game than is typical on third down. They converted lots of third and longs, an area of weakness all season. You need 8 here to keep the Trojans from getting the football back. Trojan faithful on their feet, making noise behind the Penn State offense.
Here's the best pass rusher. Dropping.
McSorley. Oh, miscommunication. Coverage by Jack Jones, the true freshman on Godwin.
They put Jack Jones out there by himself with Godwin. A night that he has had. They take a risk. Godwin's 9 receptions, 187 yards, and he gets lost. His eyes are in the backfield, playing man, not on his receiver. And I tell you, he's very, very fortunate that that ball is essentially thrown away, or he's beaten for a touchdown.
The true freshman pressed into duty tonight. Imam Marshall had to go out of the game. And now Gillikin to punt it away. It's a low boot. It's going to bounce. Burnett has to spin free. Again, filling in for Dory Jackson, who apparently cannot return in that role. And Trojans will take over down 7 at their 21. More of the Rose Bowl game with the Northwestern Mutual coming up. Penn State career of Brandon Bell is over. The senior closed his career with a memorable play, an interception return down inside the 5-yard line, out there with his arm in a sling, but urging his defensive brothers to make a stand here in a moment.
He pulled aside Cam Brown, a freshman who's played a lot of football. When Bell's been down, he's out there, has been playing since Bell's been out, along with Jason Kabin and Manny Bowen. The other starting linebacker didn't play, so they're down there. Only starting linebackers, Kabinda.
Garner along the run, flips it over the middle. And catch by Burnett, who's been a weapon tonight, a serious problem for the Lions.
Go back to what you talked about. A guy that's meant so much to this program over these last 4 or 5 years. How fitting for him to have this is his last play, an interception where he turns the tide of the momentum. You can see there where he had the injury to that right arm. Penn State scored in the next play.
I think he had been playing hurt even before that play. Tom reported he had been off the field, came back out. You saw him land on that wrist. Jones hasn't gotten free tonight. Did score the short touchdown, knocked down after a 2-yard gain.
At the 6-minute mark, down 7. Sam Darnold, after that last drive with that great pass to Juju Smith-Schuster down that right sideline, I think is back in rhythm. I think the offense is kind of recalibrated itself. mixing the run with the pass, moving him from left to right, sometimes from the pocket.
Darnold flips it short, and falling down is Jones. He did make the catch, but will lose a yard.
Yeah, little thing, but that's why accuracy, which is a strength of Darnold's, that time he threw the ball behind Jones. And because of the footing, it's been questionable all night. He had to kind of sit back on his right leg, which was the opposite shoulder of where he wants the football, and it loses his footing, and as he said, loses a yard. Now it's 3rd and 11.
He made a lot of tough throws tonight. That was a mistake on a relatively easy throw.
They've been having a lot of success in the middle of the Penn State defense behind the linebackers.
Flag down before the snap.
Right tackle. Looks like Zach Banner may have gotten out of there a little bit too quickly on his pass protection.
False start. Offense. Number 73. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Trojans have not given up a sack tonight. That's a huge win against the Penn State pass rush that had produced 39 this season. But that miscue makes it 3rd and 16 now.
It's a different deal. Sometimes the quickness of Schwann and Sickles, sometimes they don't get to you. But we saw them do that against Ohio State. Those offensive tackles, they get out a little bit quick, trying to help themselves to the edge.
3-man rush look. Darnold still pressured. It's a screen to Jones. He makes one man miss, but he's knocked down. So that time, the Lions were ready for it. Marcus Allen on the tackle and the punt.
That time, when you get pressure with 3 on a screen and you've got 8 guys with their eyes on the ball, screen has no chance. Give Kevin Gibbons, who's been very active in the middle of that defense, credit for getting in there so quickly.
And now the clock running. Penn State's going to get the ball back inside of 4 minutes to play. Garrity at his 20. Silby gets away a short kick, and Garrity comes up to make the fair catch at the 24. So, the amazing trace, they call him, McSorley, back on the field, Kirk.
Well, they've been running the ball here late, but early, and the reason they were able to make so many big plays is his ability to extend plays. His creativity, not panicking. How about here? I mean, he doesn't know where he's going to go. Keeps the play alive, looks out, finds his check down Barkley, picks up about 15 or 20 yards. So his ability, as much as Sam Darnold's ability to improvise, a big part of what Penn State's been able to take advantage of against the SC defense. Sometimes SC is there, but you can't always account for a quarterback who's extending plays like that.
Kolovatu, the big man in the middle. He handed to Barkley, and Stevie T and crew clog it up. McSorley is a born winner, a high school guy that won state championships as a freshman, sophomore, and junior. They came up just short in his senior season. Reminder that Jan 9, Tigers in the Tide on ESPN. He's a good lacrosse player. Remember he told us yesterday, his lacrosse coach said, you know what, you're not going to really be a big-time football player.
You're never going to get a Division I.
Maybe focus on lacrosse.
You're never going to get a Division I scholarship in football.
Stuck with him and motivated him.
Until yesterday. I mean, right now. I mean, that definitely motivated him. They're working his play clock, which is a smart thing to do. SC still has all 3 timeouts left.
Crowding the line. Barkley gets the edge, bounces it, and barrels for a first down. The middle was clogged. Saquon says, I'm heading out the right end.
A nice feel here by Barkley. We saw him earlier. You're going to see a block coming out here from the outside from Godwin, the receiver. That kind of seals it. But this play's designed. There's nothing in the middle. There's the instinct to be able to bounce that to the outside and get out away from Powell, the inside linebacker, who again is in for Cameron Smith. But the instincts, the vision, and the patience once again from Saquon Barkley.
It's been a shootout. All the dozen touchdowns we talked about, but now the 2.5-minute mark, every yard, every first down becomes precious.
Every second.
Yep. That was a sticky exchange between McSorley and Barkley. They do feed it to the tailback in a short gain.
SC bringing that safety, McQuay, who they have blitzed a lot. SC uses their first timeout.
Trojans need the football back. Lions nursing a 7-point lead. The 103rd Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual. has been memorable. Now Kirk, the Lions, after an SC timeout, face a decision on 2nd and 9.
Yeah, conventional wisdom says run, potentially punt, make USC use all 3 of their timeouts, or does James Franklin and Joe Moorhead decide to get aggressive, try a play-action pass, and try to maybe seal the victory with McSorley maybe taking a chance off play-action and throwing? And by the way, if it's not there, tell McSorley to pull it down and run.
3 receivers matched up to the left, Barkley to the right. Saquon's got it, cuts it back, and is brought down at the 42. Good tackle by Nwusu, but now the Trojans spend a timeout. It'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, so you pick up big yards with your most talented player with Barkley. At least you now are in a position where you want to be at 3rd down and what is it, about 4?
Yeah, exactly.
Now James Franklin's going to go there because it comes down to this. If you run the football and you come up short, you make USC use their last timeout, more than likely. And now you're going to punt the ball away and see if Sam Darnold can go 80 or 85 yards with no timeouts and about a little under 2 minutes to go. Or do you tell McSorley, who made great decisions for the most part, not just tonight, the last 9 games, you say, hey, look, if it's there, take it. If not, let's pull it down and run. Let's see. Or again, you can give it to Barkley as well, who's your best player, and see if he can pick up the 1st down on the ground.
Lions fans would say this is poetic justice. If we could convert on a 3rd down and perhaps seal a Rose Bowl victory. After all the struggles they've had on 3rd down this season, overcoming that to be a high-scoring offense.
Man-to-man from USC. Got to expect blitz from the Trojans here.
They bring the heat, and Barkley escapes. But not for long. He slips down behind the line of scrimmage. Michael Hutchings makes a huge tackle for loss, and it is 4th down.
Well, Hutchings does a good job of getting to the outside. As I said, Clancy Pendergast decides to bring the blitz with Harris, 27. From the outside, they came from the field, which is exactly where Penn State is running. You'll see a blitz come here. That initially forces Barkley to the outside, and boy, what a good job by the senior middle linebacker, 19, Hutchings, making sure he gets to the outside, not giving Barkley a chance to turn the corner where he's had a ton of success.
So Blake Gilligan, the true freshman, will be sent on to punt. And for USC, we've got a 3rd different punt returner. It was, of course, Adoree Jackson in that familiar role. He's out injured. Then Burnett took a turn. Now, Kirk, it's Jack Jones, the true freshman corner, who's played pretty well tonight, sent back at his 20-yard line.
Make a good decision, depending on how deep this punt is for the true freshman.
Take it back. It's Darius Rogers, the other number 1, who watches that one sail over his head and into the end zone. So a touchback, a huge boot from Gilligan. And here comes Sam Darnold, the redshirt freshman who took over when the Trojans were 1-2. Had a big ball game tonight. Can he put together one more drive?
This is kind of what you thought might happen. His ability to create has been so big, whether it's scrambling for yards or more what we've seen is buying time, working through his progression. See, pocket presence here, just throwing a dart on the line between a linebacker to safety. The touch where he can't follow through to Juju Smith-Schuster down that right sideline. So the ball is in his hands. He doesn't have any timeouts, and he's got to go 80 yards to tie this football game up in just under 2 minutes.
Traffic in the pocket. Darnold escapes. Flips it across the middle, and a fingertip catch made on the sideline across the 30 by Smith-Schuster.
Magician working in that pocket, getting away from the pressure. And what you really have to appreciate from a freshman is his ability to keep his eyes downfield, stay poised, not panic, and then eventually find an open receiver. And he gets out of bounds.
Across the middle, Yamato Bebe, the tight end, has a 1st down. Clock will stop momentarily to move to 6 at the 43.
2 plays, 2 first downs. Obviously not getting out of bounds. A little bit more urgency. This is where you really, if you haven't seen Sam Darnold play, keep in mind he's a freshman and watch him play with the confidence and poise.
There's a looping throw, incomplete, and a flag. Jordan Smith was in coverage against Burnett. Didn't turn his head though, face guarding.
Smith has been in coverage for the most part and has been in phase. This time, he does not get his head turned around.
Number 12, 15-yard penalty. First down.
The combination of contact and not getting his head turned alerts the official to a pass interference call.
So 2 completions and a penalty, and now the Trojans just 42 yards away from the end zone and a tying touchdown.
3 plays and 3 first downs for SC.
Arnold tries far side again. Haley in coverage, didn't turn around, and again draws a flag.
Yeah, you got to locate the football, and Haley didn't turn his head around until the last possible second. By then, the ball was already past him, and Rogers was working to get to the ball.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 15. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
See Haley at the last second turn, but by then he's already prevented Rogers from being able to get to the football. Another pass interference, second in a row by Penn State.
Dangers of man coverage, huh?
Yeah, you're living out on an island against some pretty talented receivers and a really accurate and talented quarterback.
Ball at the 27 now.
Remember, Matter Bebe, the tight end, is a big factor over the middle. He's right here.
Arnold has a lot of time. Flies over the middle. Touchdown! Deontay Burnett with the hat trick. The Trojans, with some help from 2 penalties on Franklin's typically lightly penalized team, tie it with the PAT. We still got a minute 20 for Penn State's offense now.
This Sam Darnold is about as good a quarterback as you're going to see in college football. The kid is a freshman. He just went right down the field and ends up coming up with a big play. Watch this throw, though, Chris. Look at the safety right here. And you're going to tell me that you're going to make a throw over here with confidence? How does he make this throw with that coverage? And throws a dime right over top of the linebacker, Cam Brown, and between the safety, Marcus Allen.
Absurd. Some people are put on this earth to do one thing. He is a born quarterback, huh?
He might be a lot of other things, but on the football field, he's in a different galaxy. 453 yards, 5 touchdowns now. And by the way,
Rose Bowl record.
By the way, you just left McSorley a minute 20.
Yep. And he looks like it's just another day in summer camp out there on the sideline. Look at that facial expression.
He's going to go Joe Montana on the sideline there.
And Saquon, his kick returner. McSorley wouldn't have it any other way, too, Kirk. He says, give me the ball and a chance to go win this game. Lions have 2 timeouts to work with. Barkley has some space. Tries to cut it back. Still alive over there. An excellent return. Sets up the Lions at the 35 with 1:09 to go.
Again, Sam Darnold does a lot of great things, and he's only going to get better. But the thing that really stands out, like a lot of the great ones, watch the reaction to the game time touchdown. All right, here we go. You want to go for 2, Coach? Oh, we're going to go for 1. Just like it's an everyday thing for him. What a competitor. But by the way, that 2-point conversion that USC got, that's why they've been able to tie this game.
Barkley. Now what do you do if you're Joe Moorhead? Penn State's offense was flying up and down the field. Stopped the last couple times. No points so far in the 4th quarter. And not a lot of urgency here. Is Franklin content to lull him to sleep, take a downfield shot here?
Just brought Godwin,
overtime.
Just moved Godwin all the way down to the bottom.
McSorley rolls, heaves it downfield, has a man wide open. It was late and almost picked off as Leon McQuay came charging across. Wow.
Well, as you said, Chris, he was late. He actually got behind Jones, who's been lost in coverage, a true freshman, number 1. Watch one off to the right. He kind of gets lost again, but because of the pass rush, he can't really step into it. Floats it up there, and McQuay, the senior, should have stepped in front of that and intercepted it.
Gesicki did not step back to the ball and fight for it either. He kind of waited for it to come to him. So 3rd and 9. Incompletion here. The Lions will have to punt the ball away. Another downfield shot. Godwin. And it is intercepted this time by McQuay. Down the sidelines and knocked out. With 27 seconds to go, the Trojans can win it in regulation. Live with the home run ball all year, perhaps die with it tonight.
Live with the sword, die with the sword. That play has worked for them, not just tonight, but most of the year. He telegraphed it. He told you it was coming. He thinks his guy's better than you. He believes his guy's going to make the catch. Here he is, the safety. He knows it's coming. He's staring him down. It's about who's going to get up to the football. And McQuay, who just dropped the interception, this time times up the leap perfectly, and not only comes up with the interception, but returns it all the way to the 33-yard line and gives Darnold the ball with 27 seconds, no timeouts.
When you played the position under pressure, it looked like McSorley squeezed that ball. That did not come out pretty, that pass at all.
No, but I think it goes back to him having so much success with that kind of play, or Godwin, or any of these receivers, or the tight end Gesicki. How many times have we seen them go up and make those plays? He told the safety, I'm going here. I'm throwing it up. Can you make a play on my receiver or not?
Now, Sam Darnold, redshirt freshman.
The Penn State head coach is challenging that after the pass is intercepted, the ball carrier stepped out earlier than where we declared the ball dead. The previous play is under review.
So Franklin uses a challenge. Let's take a look and see if McQuay did in fact stay in bounds all the way to the,
Chris, it's
the
right
33.
After the interception, right initially, the first 2 or 3 steps, I think is what he's going to challenge. Right there, inbounds, all the way. And then after that, until he goes out of bounds, maybe it was just the first few steps.
That would have been a massive difference, obviously, the ball back in SC territory, but he stays in bounds. And now with the ball at the 33, they don't really have to move it very far to get in field goal range, but they don't have any timeouts, so you don't want to get tackled in the field. Have to rush the field goal team on there.
It looked like he stepped out maybe at the 35, if anything.
And Sam Darnold in the 4th quarter of this Rose Bowl game has gone 10 for 10 passing. .453 and 5 touchdowns. And you cap off one of the great games we've ever seen in the history of bowl games with a win here.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Penn State will be charged a timeout, and they have no challenges remaining in the game. First down.
Penn State timeout's really irrelevant now, but the fact that SC doesn't have any is highly relevant. So a lot of things in play here with 27 seconds to go.
Obviously, out of bounds and first downs is what Sam Darnold's looking for to be able to stop the clock.
Penn State has owned the final quarter in this win streak. Not tonight. It belonged to Sam Darnold. Jones, a run. And they got to get the team out there quickly if they're going to kick a field goal or spike it.
Darnold's going to fire it here. You didn't expect him just to kill the clock.
15, 14, 13.
He's going to set it up here from the left hash.
I'll tell you what. This is a great deal of trust in a field goal kicker.
45-yarder from the left hash.
Matt Bormeister, the junior, been very accurate, 15 of 20 coming into this game, but he has missed a couple of long ones. Didn't make one from 44 along with a 22-yarder. Missed a 51-yarder early and also a 49-yarder. I went to junior college. Comes from San Diego. And for a win. A walk-off Rose Bowl winner from 46 yards to cap an incredible comeback. Matt Bormeister on the snap of Zach Smith, the hold of Wyatt Schmidt, and Penn State will spend that final timeout to give the junior a minute or more to think about this. They did not really aggressively try to get the ball closer to Bormeister at all. These are the two misses. Hooks the first one. Plenty of distance. Leg will not be an issue on this field goal attempt. Whether he can place it on those uprights, Kirk, that look very narrow when you stand out there from this distance with this much on the line, don't they?
Absolutely. This is really more about showing some of the poise that Sam Darnold's played with tonight. Being able to just lock in and not get caught up in what's at stake. That's why you rep and rep and rep and rep, whether it's the snap, the hold, the kick.
Is it overtime? Or does Matt Bormeister win it for the Trojans in a Rose Bowl Classic right here? It's good. USC wins it. The left foot of Matt Bormeister is the final word of a Rose Bowl game that we'll never forget. But the right arm of Sam Darnold was the most important component to this comeback victory. SC outscores Penn State 17-0 in the fourth quarter. Samantha Ponder with Clay Helton.
Well, Coach, you said it was a dream to be in this game. What's it like to win it?
Glory to God. We've watched after this team all year and watched after it one more time. What a valiant effort by a group of young men and a staff. I can't tell you how proud I am of them in this atmosphere.
Coach, the last time I saw you was at that Alabama game in Dallas. What would you have said if I told you you'd be here tonight?
Believe in the men that surround you. They did the job tonight, and we're Rose Bowl champions, the granddaddy of them all.
Coach, can I ask you about your quarterback real quick? Because I had to remind myself that he's a freshman. I don't think he smiled or showed any emotion the entire